Hey, what's up, everyone? You're tuned into Faces of the District. I'm your host, Matt, and today we're with Carolina and Sarah at the District Gallery. For any listeners who have never heard of the District Gallery or don't know you guys, can you briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Carolina. I'm our gallery manager here, and District Gallery is all about reimagining the gallery experience. So, everyone's kind of had the experience where you walk into an art gallery and it's all a little stuffy, people aren't so friendly, you get a little nervous, you don't want to touch anything, and then you run away because you're a little scared. We don't want to do that.
Sure.
We are a space for collaboration, for conversation. We want everyone who walks in here, whether you're a high school kid looking for a cause doll or like a book or a sneakerhead book, or if you're trying to collect, a really expensive piece of artwork for your new collection by a world-renowned artist, we want everyone to feel welcome. We want everyone to ask questions and everyone to be involved.
Awesome.
Hello, and I'm Sarah. I'm a gallery assistant here, and I help with all processes here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, it's probably very nice to have someone helping out.
I would lose my head without Sarah.
Sure.
We've got two assistants. They're so wonderful.
Awesome.
I would have no head without them.
Yeah, and I would have to say the feeling you're describing, I definitely got. I live down the street. I've come to Van Aken District maybe 3 times a week, but I always walk by and admire the art from the window. I'm super into art, and it just always catches my eye. But I walked in and it was like really welcoming. I was like, whoa, this stuff is so cool. You guys didn't really know who I was at first. We had never met. And you welcomed me and it was really cool. And I've been looking around and it's just amazing. So I guess I'm curious around what does it mean, like reimagining the gallery experience? I know you touched on it's a little bit more welcoming. It's not as stuffy, but would love to hear what that means. I was going to ask anyways. I saw it coming in through the door. It caught my eye and I was like, okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So let me think about that.
Sure.
We really want to have a hand in our clients, and we want people to choose artwork and look at artwork that they love. When you go to galleries, a lot of places say, oh, you should get this piece because it's a good investment piece.
Right.
And then, it's all about, there's not a human interaction. There's not a human element to it. But we want people to look at and buy artwork that they love. We always start, if someone's looking for a piece, we say, what do you like? What don't you like? Let us get to know you. We pride ourselves in being very personable, whether, again, like I said, if you're a high school kid or someone looking for a bigger piece of artwork, like we have a very careful hand in every step of the way. And that's from choosing artwork to hanging an installation to, we give you all this information about the work. We want to make the process as unintimidating as possible.
Sure. So how are you curating the art? Like you said, you're really trying to gear the art towards something that your clientele would love. And I want to learn more about the clientele, but I'm curious, like, I thought maybe this would be local stuff, and I was walking around, there's stuff from Italy, stuff from Paris. Like, I'm blown away by all the cool stuff here. And I was just curious, how are you finding these artists? How are you curating this?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. So social media is a really cool thing. We found some of our artists on social media. Some artists have actually reached out to us and said, hey, I'm this really cool artist from like Texas, or we got Mr. Brainwash. They saw us on Instagram and reached out to us, and now we sell their originals.
Okay.
We also find artists that we love at different art fairs. The owners are collectors and know the art scene pretty well, so they'll travel and meet new artists at new fairs all around the world. So it's bringing, how do we have local artists, because we want to support the Cleveland scene as well. So how do we have local artists, more mid-career artists, and also, kind of your textbook artists that you'd see in like art history lessons? How can we make a cool collection of blending all of these types of artwork? And we like to have stuff at different price points too. So, that's important. There's something for everyone. Everyone can, find a piece that they love. And even if it's not, a crazy big piece, like that's okay. We've got, stuff from $50 and up. So,
okay.
Sarah, I don't know if you want to touch on that at all.
Let me think. I don't know. I feel like you covered it really well.
Yeah. I guess with the pieces that you're curating, you had mentioned there's some like textbook artists, like you're referring to like famous, well-known artists. So there's actually those type of artists in this gallery as well?
Yeah, super cool. Yeah.
Okay. Who are some of those people?
Yeah, for sure. One of them,
artists.
Sarah, I'll actually let you talk about this.
Alex Katz?
Yeah, I was thinking like Alex Katz, Julian Stanchak, and like Julian Opie as well.
Okay.
Definitely Stanchak because he's lived in Cleveland.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Julian Stanchak, he's from Cleveland.
Okay.
He taught at the Cleveland Institute of Art. Very well-known artist. Really created like a whole movement behind his work, and was trying things that nobody had been trying before.
Sure.
So we exhibit his work. We have had a lot of his work. His work's been very successful here.
Right.
We've also had and have works by Alex Katz. Everyone knows Alex Katz. Everyone loves his works, his beautiful paintings, and of course Julian Opie. He does a lot of like these walker series, people walking in a very like stylized artwork. So yeah, there's just a few.
Yeah, and Ian Davenport too. He's been really cool. He does these really awesome drip paintings and like splat paintings. So whether it's Julian Stanchak, who had he was a founder in the op art movement.
Okay.
He's since passed. We work with his wife Barbara. She's so wonderful. Or it's Ian Davenport, like a contemporary now kind of textbook artist.
Sure.
It's been really cool to have these artists in here. Like,
so is that this one on this wall?
Mm-hmm,
okay. Yeah, that's actually my favorite piece.
Right? It's so good.
Like I don't know, I love it. It's so colorful and just.
It's so good.
Yeah. There's not like, like the Elvis thing is super cool, but you have to think about Elvis and you're looking at Elvis. Like this is a little more abstract, and like it's so cool to just kind of interpret it and feel the emotion rather than see like a concrete thing. So that's one of my favorite pieces. I think it's super cool.
That's cool. See, we're doing the thing. We're like, what do you like? What don't you like?
Yes.
So getting a feel for what you like.
Yeah, for sure. So how did you both get into art? I'm very, we were discussing earlier, you guys both went to CIA, you're have a background in art. You've both been working here for a couple years now. I'd love to hear about how you got into all this.
Do you want to go first? Or?
Sure,
okay.
Yeah. Wow, I've always considered myself an artist. I did in high school. I'm originally from Menor, so I went to Menor High School and did all the fine art classes, all the stuff there. My mom's an art teacher.
Oh, cool. At Mentor?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she went to CIA as well.
Wow.
So I really grew up around art. I grew up going to the art museum. I grew up seeing all these cool high schooler artists. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So I, from a young age, I was really involved in that. I did drawing and painting primarily, and then I went to CIA thinking I was going to be a painter, and I got in the program and I fell in love with photography. And I'm like, what can I do with photography? That's weird. So now I actually do alternative process artwork. I've actually got some pieces here. I'm lucky enough to be able to have sold some works through District Gallery of my own personal work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I do alternative process photography with film and chemistry and all that good stuff. Cool. So, and then working here, it's just really cool to be able to, be a maker. I am an artist, and then be working with artists and supporting artists, whether they're from South Africa. I've met like Neil Wright. We're going to meet Orit Fuchs this coming summer. I get to meet these really cool artists and. Being an artist myself, it's a really cool dynamic that we all have, and then be able to see the business side of it too. I really also enjoy the business part of it.
And I'd imagine it's providing tons of value to the curation and to the client, and even to the artist partners that you guys have in you actually being an artist and being involved in that, rather than being a collector or someone who is just excited about art and wants to own an art gallery. I think it's really interesting to have actual artists working with the artists, working with the clients, walking through the process, kind of reimagining things like you're talking about. So I do want to get back to the event, but I'd love to hear how you got into art as well.
Yeah, and going off what you were just saying, I think it's also so great that we both have that like art background, because so many of the works, people will have questions about them and then we're able to explain it. So I do also have like a fine arts background. I've always been an artist, growing up, much like Carolina. And then it wasn't until like high school that I was like, okay, like I think I want to seriously consider this. It's something I really love doing. I never seem to get tired of it. So I looked for like a program in the area, And I ended up being in this it was like a half-day studio art and design program in high school, and that really allowed me to excel and have all of the foundational skills in color, design, painting, drawing. And then I was able to go to the Cleveland Institute of Art. And I thought I would go into either drawing, graphic design, or illustration.
Okay.
Yeah, and I landed on illustration.
Okay.
And I do an assortment of work now, but I think what I'm really getting into now is picture book.
Okay.
Sarah's a really, really cool bookmaker.
Nice. What's the subject matter?
Yes. Yeah. So I worked on 2 books for my senior thesis.
Okay.
So one of them was a children's book, and
Nice.
it was a lot of painting and cut collage techniques.
Okay.
And then that was again a children's book, and it was related to nature and people. And the second book was also focused on nature, but the approach was really different, where I'm using all of my drawing skills.
Okay.
And I'd taken a lot of drawing electives, which really helped inform that book.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so while you're working here, you're able to continue pursuing your passions of creating art and doing that kind of stuff. That's
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool. And so I guess with being here in the district, I know we discussed moving, you have this event coming up. So you're moving into a bigger space, things are growing, things are going well. Tell me a little bit about that. It's super exciting.
Oh my gosh, we are so excited. So we opened in August 2019, and that's a tricky time because when 2020 happened, COVID happened. And I think they weren't quite sure, the owners, they just started this gallery, this dream of theirs, and, how was it going to go? But lucky for us, a lot of people, they didn't take their vacations, and they didn't go a lot of places, and a lot of people thought okay, either we have to remodel our house or we have to move.
Right.
We're working from home, we're working in these offices, let's really consider our spaces, where we exist. There's art brings, this something to your space that elevates it and it makes you feel a certain way. Whereas if you don't have artwork and it's a plain sterile office, a plain sterile home, bringing artwork into your space really just makes you feel so much better.
For
and
sure.
a lot of people realize that. So lucky for us, we just grew so much because of that, and because of all of our great clients and people we found and online and social media and the district, everyone, we've built some great relationships here. We're able to double our space now, and we are so excited about that. We're going to be moving into the old Groove Ride space right next to North Star and kind of the entrance to the parking lot for Van Aken. We're planning to open up in May with Orit Fuchs. She's going to be coming from Israel, unveiling some new artworks. We love Orit Fuchs. She has been with us from the beginning. One of the owners met her at an art fair, but I'm excited to meet her in person.
Right.
She's so super cool, so nice to work
and her
with.
work is just stunning.
Oh my gosh, it's great.
Yeah.
And she's going to be bringing these big paintings.
Yeah.
We're going to be getting them here in a couple weeks soon in crates. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to be.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. And we were in the back where you guys, I had assumed that everything was out here, but you had shown me in the back there's a whole art storage room that you'll be able to put way more stuff out in the new space. But the way that, I've seen the movies and I've seen the art thief type of things. And, I didn't realize there's actually a wooden crate back there with the size of the art piece. And it's that's really cool. So, just something that I'd never even thought of, what's behind the scenes at an art gallery. How do you install these things? What does it look like? And then you're showing me that circle painting with all the string coming out of it. And I'd never, that thing was huge. It was probably as big as me. And it's just this giant circle. It's just really cool. And so it's I'm here from Shaker. I live down the street. I think it's just so cool to have a gallery like this locally here at the district, but then also to find out that you guys are local as well. Not only do you understand art, you went to CIA, but you understand Cleveland and you understand the community and you really understand the sort of climate and landscape here. And that creates such a unique sort of vibe and feeling here too, because like Cleveland has its own type of feeling, especially when you get down to where CIA is and that type of area. So it's really cool to have a local entity like this here at the district. I guess, who was involved in coming up with the name? Was that just a very obvious, like, oh, let's call it the District Gallery? Or was that like hours and hours? Like we've done brand naming and we come up with hundreds of names, and then we just go back to that one where it's like the pawn shop, or like, you know, like Cleveland Dentist.
Yeah.
Or like, oh.
Yeah, I'm sure that was before Sarah and I had started. I mean, I'm sure it definitely had an ode. The owners have connections with a lot of the people. You know, they're very involved in Shaker. Like, the people who own this gallery are so involved in the community. It is so wonderful. We love Karen and Richard. They, you know, are connectors. They make things happen. They're involved in the day-to-day with what we do here. We've got a lot of good people at the gallery.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and they're so supportive of Shaker too, and Cleveland, and it's just really, really good that on all levels here we've got connection with the community. So I'm sure I had to do something with an ode to the district, the Van Aken District. It's very fitting, I think.
Right. Yeah, and that's really awesome, because I feel like that's sort of the theme around the Van Aken District, where it's, you know, mostly locally owned, people who care about not only Cleveland, but actually Shaker Heights and Van Aken, and this like central point in the community, this downtown, if you will, which is really cool, because for someone who has lived here for 10 years, the first 3 years that I lived here when this didn't exist, it was not cool.
So we've heard.
It was not fun driving to Beechwood to get things you don't enjoy. And like, this is amazing. And like, it's what the community needs and wants. And just to have you guys here and be local and have just, like, to me, when I think of Cleveland, art is definitely one of those pillars that I think of. And to have this here as well, next to like Cleveland Clothing Company, and just like in the mix with Mitchell's Ice Cream, it's like, these are Cleveland staples. And you guys are bringing in a unique sort of thing that is very Cleveland and Shaker Heights to me. Like, I always knew Shaker Heights was a very artsy, liberal kind of, you know, that type of thing. So it's really awesome. I am curious what your favorite pieces are. And I'm sure it's hard to choose one because you're here all day, and maybe one day it's different and, you know, the next, but today, in this moment.
Okay.
You go first.
Oh, my Lord. See, because this is hard, because then they sell, and then I'm like,
Right.
oh, it's my favorite.
Yeah. It's like, you don't want to buy that one.
Okay, so I think right now, and again, this is like always changing.
Of course.
But it's actually right behind me. It's Paula Rubenstein work right
Sure.
here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's actually the mother of one of the owners with Karen. She's so talented. She used to be a medical illustrator, but then she transitioned into being a painter. So she does these paintings. She works with paint, but she also works with collage. And I just feel like her work has this Matisse-like quality,
Sure.
and that really resonates with me, because I love
So is
collage,
that piece like a mixed medium? I see like gold foil in there. And
yes.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She was just in like, about a month ago, and she says, yeah, I just like, she was telling me, she's like, oh, I just use whatever I can find in my home. She likes collecting things and using them in her work.
Cool.
So I love her work for that reason.
Maybe I'll start using all the crap in my house to get, let's get rid of this. Just put it on the painting.
Yeah.
She brings it to a whole nother level.
Right,
it's just beautiful. And it's like just little stories within her work.
That's amazing. And that's so amazing that it's the mother of one of the owners. I mean, that in itself is a really cool story. And just, you know, that she's coming in here. And do a lot of the artists pop in that are local, or if they're visiting, or is there more calling them in for events and things like that?
We had Mark Ross as one of our other artists. He's from Shaker. That story you were saying about a couple years ago wasn't so great coming. Mark grew up in Shaker. So now he's got artwork in the gallery here. Yeah. And he's out of Columbus now, and he'll come back and be like, oh, there's something new here. Oh, this is so cool. We just saw him last week. He makes amazing work, and he's a really cool guy too.
That's awesome.
And then Don Stewart, he works on that sculptural work.
Yeah, Don's actually got some work in the district, with different totems around the district.
Okay, I was going to ask, is there a lot of the artwork placed within the market hall in different areas of the district as well, or is it all concentrated in here?
It's mostly here. We're working on maybe some collaborative projects. We do have some stuff. We hang some stuff over at Andrew's, the hair salon. Every once in a while, we've got some stuff up there now.
Right.
AO.
Oh yeah, and AO. We've got stuff over at AO.
Well, that's smart. You have where people are sitting, if you're getting your hair done for an hour or whatever it is, or you're sitting at AO working all day and you're just staring at this beautiful thing. And then you're like, oh, I can buy that. That's great. Have you felt there's a really great synergy and sort of cross collaboration between the different merchants here? Like, do you feel a sense of community? Like Shaker has a very strong community, but within the merchants and that community itself.
Yeah, I think so. I love, everyone who works for Van Aken and getting to know all the different merchants around here. We'll pop in and be like, oh, hey, I'm from the gallery. Like I've never met you before. Who are you? Or we've done some collaborative events in the past.
Okay.
Like, I think it was like 2 winters ago for the holidays, us, Double Rainbow, and Selfmaker, we did like a little fundraiser for Hope for Henry. So some of the proceeds from the day went to Hope for Henry, which is like children's hospital experience.
Very cool.
So that was really cool. Like some collaborative events. We want to do more. I think in our new space and our new
bigger.
It'll be bigger and better.
So,
small in here.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely.
We pack a punch though.
Yes.
Right. That's what you say it much better than I do. But I'm just like taken back by all the art. But I guess in the new space, will there be a new sort of space and carved out areas for events? Will it be big enough to host more events and kind of, because even if you're just sponsoring and hosting and having that sort of collaboration with other merchants here.
I'm actually working on a couple events. We do rent out the gallery. It can be rented out.
Oh, cool.
For private events. We did that just before COVID. We're getting back into it now. Getting our formula solidified, but I definitely like to have more events in the bigger space. It's going to be double our space, have more people, more merchants, our art provides such a great backdrop for everything.
Right.
So I think we can do a lot with, different merchants in the area. People are starting to know that we're going to be moving. It was just kind of announced last week.
Okay.
So we're really excited. People they're just starting to hear about it and they're like, oh, This is cool. Like, let's do something.
Yeah. And I'm sure people are wondering what's going into Groove Ride and how's that going to work. And that's amazing. I haven't asked about your clients. Who are your clients? I know there's a giant range. There's these, what do we call them? These things, cause chum dolls and different things that maybe I'm too old to understand what they are. But I guess I'm looking around. I kind of see something for everyone. But there's the Bob Marley and Nirvana thing I love. But just trying to understand, like, who is the clientele? Who are you talking to? Who is that person you're walking through that process of finding the piece they love?
So we really want this gallery to be open to all people. Mm-hmm. So we definitely have like a range and a range of prices, but we also want to have people come in that are maybe younger or maybe much older. So we want our artwork to be accessible. Right. So that's why we have such a variety. I think that the through line with it all is that our work is very bold, but we try to definitely like curate so that everybody can find something that they like and hear. Yeah.
And like Sarah works a lot of the weekends. Our assistants work a lot of the weekends, and you guys will get anyone from like, again, a group of high schoolers or, people in their mid to late 20s or early 30s. We've noticed a lot of families coming in, a lot of young couples just kind of starting their lives. And then one of our other assistants, or our gallery consultant. She's got a lot of friends. She's in her 40s. And so she's got, people who have kids now and they're wanting to start, they're in their forever home now.
Right.
So again, it's like a range, like whether we're working with people, they've never bought art before. Someone recently bought one of my favorite pieces that I love by Neil Wright, and I was so sad to see it go, but I was so happy that she was getting it because she was my age.
Right.
I'm 26. So she, she's like, me and my husband were buying our first piece. Like, can you help me with this? I'm like, absolutely. Right. Let's work on this together. Right. And, like kids who get the Cos dolls or, into the sneaker trading, like that's a big thing with that culture. My brother's younger, so he does that thing and he loves that we get the Cos dolls, but it's his first step into art. So whether it's like a collectible toy or a Steven Wilson piece, Steven Wilson was one of my first pieces that I actually bought. I bought the Fleetwood Mac Rumors album. Right. Steven Wilson's out of Charlotte, an embroidery artist out of Charlotte. So that was my first piece that I got. But whether you're buying that or like a little Cos doll, like it's stepping into the art scene, the contemporary art scene. So, circling back to your question about clientele, like it's a little bit of everything. Like we're so lucky that we're not just set to one demographic.
Right.
It's been a pleasure to work with literally everyone.
Yeah, and that's really cool. I mean, you can have the collector come in and get one of the works from the famous artist that you had mentioned, or their kid could come in and get one of those dolls or one of these things that are over there.
Yeah, or the Klubos.
Or the Klubos.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
Yes, or Monkey Biz.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool things, and it's really interesting, and it feels like Shaker, the way the art is put together, and the district for that matter. I think the district really reflects kind of what Shaker and the vibe is. And so it's really interesting that it's not like this thing that's off in its silo that is, just an art gallery. It's really connected to everything. And I never knew that. That's something I learned here today. Super awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like I was just thinking, we've got connecting with the people in the apartments above us too.
Right.
We're starting to get some regular people who walk through, including like people who work over at AO or, people who have business meetings in the market hall. They'll like bring their friends by after.
Cool art gallery.
Yeah, like they'll bring their coffees after lunch, and we might have like, I don't know, some college students in here, and we're just chatting with them about the work who come in every time we rotate it, or grandparents who are walking their grandkids through.
Right.
Yeah, and the kids like. We obviously, and the parents always come in, or the grandparents, they might say, "Don't touch anything." We say, "You can touch."
That's cool.
No, we have something for you. So we always we have the Klubos that we let the kids hold and look at, and
that's cool.
Yeah, and they always have questions about it, and have questions about the artwork, and we really just welcome everybody.
That's
and
great.
Just make it a very comfortable and friendly space for all.
And we're happy to be able to contribute to that community in Van Aken. Like if we're a destination spot where people can, go visit other merchants and then come stop by us to maybe like sit at our table and like chat for 10 minutes, 15 minutes with their friends. Like we're so happy to contribute to that.
For sure. That's awesome. Well, I think this was really great. I learned a lot. I mean, this is in my backyard. It's super exciting. You guys are awesome.
You too. You too.
Thank you. And before we leave, can you tell us more about the event? That way we can cut a little promo. Date, time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Groove ride, location.
Totally. Yeah. So we're hoping to open in our new space. Our bigger space, our space with big windows, double the wall space. We're hoping to be able to open our doors in May. We have Orit Fuchs coming from Israel. She's fantastic. Her work is beautiful. Check her out on her Instagram or our Instagram. Original paintings, some prints as well. She's bringing some sculptures. So she's also providing a variety of work for us. Right. And her work, her shows, the official start date is going to be May 10th. So May 10th, her work will be out for 4 weeks. Please come check it out. Her work is incredible. We'll also have some new artists. I can't share who we are going to be working
Little
with.
Teaser.
Exactly. We are bringing on 5 new artists when we move to our new space. So we're really excited. They range from sculpture to photography and mixed media and painting. Like they're going to be really, really great artists. So hopefully we're going to have their work as well. By the time that Orit's show is happening, we'll have some little teasers of their work too.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much. This was great. All right. Well, thank you so much. You've been listening to Faces of the District. I'm Matt from Hey Now, and we'll see you next time.